Hey guys, and welcome to Pirate Hunter Traffy. Picking up right where we left off, episode 2 of Demon Slayer Season 3 starts with a young swordsmith named Kotetsu being accosted by the Mist Hashira. The young swordsmith keeps saying he won't demonstrate how to use it and declines Muichiro's request for a key. The annoyed Mist Hashira chops at the boy's neck, knocking him out cold as Tanjiro observes the conflict from behind the trees and feels he should step in to mediate. Tanjiro comes over and demands that Muichiro release his hold on him. Despite being thinner and smaller than the smith, Tanjiro tries to free his hand but is unable to move the Hashira's arm. Instead, the Demon Slayer is elbowed in the stomach by the Hashira, who then commands him to release his hold. Before detecting a demon within the package Tanjiro is carrying, he mocks Tanjiro for being weak and questions how he got into the Demon Slayer corpse. Tanjiro commands him not to touch it as he swatted his hand away. Somewhat unexpectedly, Tanjiro frees the young blacksmith from Muichiro's grip. However, the distraught blacksmith declines Tanjiro's assistance and reiterates his refusal to relinquish the key, fearing that the object he is concerned about may shatter. Muichiro ridicules him for thinking he could hold out during these conditions and for thinking he could create another one. He remarks that a Hashira's time is more valuable than his, and that a swordsmith is only good for creating weapons because he cannot fight. He wonders how many people might have perished while the time he is unwilling to give up something small. When Muichiro asks for the key again, Tanjiro steps in to defend the blacksmith. Although he agrees with the Hashira's complaints, the annoyed Tanjiro asserts that a swordsmith position is still essential because a swordsman and a swordsmith are mutually dependent. Tanjiro is abruptly interrupted by Muichiro, who says he doesn't have time to listen to a boring speech before chopping at Tanjiro's neck and knocking him out. Tanjiro ultimately awakens and inquires if Hagenesuka has been present. However, the swordsmith replies that he has not. The smith replies that he handed him the key to ward him off when Tanjiro asks where Muichiro is. The boy praises Tanjiro for standing up for him even though he's embarrassed that he got involved in a pointless argument. He then inquires about the companion but is informed that a mechanical doll required the key. The two then hear a thunderous clash, and the young smith realizes Muichiro has activated the battle doll after he claims it has 108 motions and can overwhelm a person. As Muichiro quickly engages the battle doll, Tanjiro and the swordsmith watch. The smith claims that Yoriichi Type Zero was created by his ancestors. When Tanjiro inquires as to why it has 6 arms, the youngster replies that his father claims the doll is based on a real person, but the additional arm count was required to represent the speed at which the genuine person moved accurately. Tanjiro looks at the doll's face and knows it is familiar but cannot place it. Tanjiro asks the smith who the person was, but even he is unable to identify them because they were from the Sengoku era. The smith then seriously remarks that if it were to break, it cannot be fixed by anyone, and Tanjiro realizes why the doll means so much to him. Tanjiro is amazed that 300 years of technology has yet to be copied. He is astounded by how talented someone so young is as he watches Muichiro battle. Muichiro's Kasugai crow makes the loud remark. Muichiro's prodigious skill is due to being a descendant of the wielder of sun breathing. The crow bites Tanjiro for insulting the Hashira's owner when he points out that she doesn't use sun breathing. The Demon Slayer then mentions that he had a dream about the man, but the crow scorns his assertions that he is acquainted with someone from the Sengoku era. The swordsmith then understands that he might have witnessed a memory he had inherited, possibly one of his ancestors. Tanjiro, relieved that the youngster's statements are not exaggerated, asks the boy his name, to which he responds, Kotetsu. They suddenly hear a tremendous crash as Muichiro strikes the doll and severely damages it. When Kotetsu notices this, he flees in agony. Tanjiro eventually finds Kotetsu in a tree using his sense of smell and offers to aid, saying that he can't give up on the doll. Kotetsu refuses to go on because he thinks he'll be the last of his generation to accomplish anything, despite being told to try for his future self. He is startled and astounded to see how quickly and discreetly the Demon Slayer crept up to where Tanjiro is hanging from a branch next to him. Tanjiro asserts that even if he is unable to do something right now, something will assist him, and even if it is something beyond his current capabilities, his offspring will ultimately accomplish it. Although even he might pass away before accomplishing it, he declares his wish to kill Muzan Kibutsuji and save Nezuko. He expresses hope that someone else will execute it in his place. The Demon Slayer holds Kotetsu's hand and says, "We do our best together," causing the young swordsmith to cry and spurring him on. Back at the doll, they see Muichiro on his way after what they perceive to have been a productive training session. The Mist Hashira then says, clutching a broken-off arm with a blade, that his own sword was snapped in the process, and he will now be using one from the doll. Then, when Muichiro gives Tanjiro the command to throw away his old sword, Kotetsu dashes to the doll. Tanjiro retorts that the same cannot be said of his crow, but observes that he does not carry any animosity and looks not to be doing it on purpose. Kotetsu dejectedly surveys the shattered doll as rain pours down, but Tanjiro wants to see if it still works. They take a seat upright and turn the key, shocked to see that Yoriichi Type Zero is still functional. Kotetsu, still enraged by Muichiro, then wants Tanjiro to train with the doll in an effort to beat the Mist Hashira. Tanjiro is unable to land a hit despite fighting the doll, which is now armed with wooden clubs, due to its overwhelming speed. Kotetsu also demonstrates his hot-headedness, sharp tongue, and keen analytical skills by repeatedly insulting the Hashira in front of the Demon Slayer and instructing him on his mistakes in engaging the doll, despite his earlier inability to defend himself. Tanjiro is made to train without food or liquids because Kotetsu wants him to feel the urgency of defeating it. Despite this, Tanjiro is still unable to strike, and the fact that he is getting weaker due to a lack of food makes the task even more challenging. A light rain gives Tanjiro a drink, but finally he collapses in the middle of a fight with Yoriichi Type Zero, who Kotetsu has given real swords. Tanjiro travels the bridge to the afterlife while seemingly viewing himself in the Sanzu River, but he unintentionally plunges into the water. He feels himself being gently massaged while dizzy from hunger and surrounded by ominous water, and he can even smell the shining stone near the bed. Touching causes him to reawaken and discover himself using the battle doll to launch an attack. He notices a fresh aroma that is distinct from the opening thread and pays close attention to the doll's moving limbs and legs. Tanjiro, who now knows how to attack, avoids a blow to the head and lands low, but he misses the target and falls to the ground. Tanjiro is happy when Kotetsu provides him with food after witnessing his closest ever successful strike. Tanjiro does better against the bladed Yoriichi Type Zero and is able to predict its motions after eating and regaining his strength. He races toward the doll and leaps up, going over it as he descends and bringing his blade down to slash it. He steps back to prepare a strike. He stops mid-attack though, not wanting to lose something that is too important to Kotetsu. The swordsmith unexpectedly asks him to strike it after discovering that he can still fix it if it breaks, allowing Tanjiro to complete his mission. Tanjiro twists his body and makes contact with the doll as it is about to cut through his hair. This causes the blade he was using to break and he falls to the ground. The Demon Slayer apologizes for the broken blade as Kotetsu rushes over to him, but the blacksmith is unconcerned. They then hear as the doll's head crumbles away to reveal a hidden blade while the doll's torso splits open where it was struck. Tanjiro and Kotetsu are shocked to find a sword that is more than 300 years old in front of them. Episode 2 of the third season of Demon Slayer, Kimetsu no Yaiba, is kind of a filler show, but it was still fun to watch. It's pretty funny how different masters like Sabito and Aoi train Tanjiro in very different ways. This time, however, he had a 10-year-old swordsmith whose remarks were equally as cutting. As for Mitsuri's hint about a secret weapon in the first episode of Season 3, it looks like we're finally getting a look at it. Since the 300-year-old Demon Slayer sword might be hidden in the doll's body, it could be the secret tool she's talking about. Want to find out if it's actually the secret weapon of the swordsmith village? Then check out our next video to find out. And remember to like, share, and subscribe if you enjoyed this video.